Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for another Journaling on a Budget. So today we are going to play with, I got some little glass bowls at the Dollar Tree, and they had these little corrugated cardboard spacers between them so that they wouldn't break. And I thought, well, those are really cool and I like the looks of those. So I was thinking, well, what could I do with that? And when I turned it this way, I thought, looks like an X. So I thought, well, let's do X marks the spot. So what I did was, just so you didn't have to watch me do the whole thing, I just colored one. And all I did was I did every other line red and every other line orange. And then I went around the edges with some orange. And so this is what we're going to use. And the page that we're going to put it on is, let's see, right here. I thought we would do this page here. We've got this page done. We got some washi tape on there. We've got some, that's a stamp actually. I think that one, yep, we put the stamp on this side and it came through to the other side. So I just traced around it. But we have a nice writing space here. It's nice and clean and a good space to write or stick a picture or something. But we need to do something with this side. So that's why I did this orange and red, because I looked through the book first before I colored it to find out where I wanted to put it. And so we're going to put this right over here and we're going to use it as a tuck spot. So we're going to take this page out and we'll put our book aside. And so we're going to work on this one. Now what I want to do is, obviously I want to do something behind. Kind of fold this way so I can see the fold a little bit better so I know where my edge is. All right, so we're going to put this on here, and then we need to put some color behind it, put something behind it. We're going to put a tag in it. But what I was thinking was, I have this stencil that we made, and I was looking at it, and it's got the 4 sides on it. So I thought, well, if I stenciled that like this, I could put the X on top of that and I would have the same pattern on each one if I did that. And so I thought, well, that would be kind of cool. And then maybe put a little bit of red, because I want to do the stencil in some paint. And we're going to do orange paint. And then we'll do a little bit of red background stamping on the other parts. So just going to put a little bit of paint on here, and then I'm going to use some orange marker so that we can get some colored paint. So if you're new to this series, in this series at the very beginning I spent $25, and I have to use only what I spent with that $25, other than maybe a little something that everyone would have around the house, like bread twisty ties or something like that, or like garbage, that things that you might throw away that you could use in your journal. So, and everybody is going to wind up with different things because this stuff was purchased at, we don't want to do that. Don't get paint on your marker. I need a piece of paper so I can, I'm just going to go on the back of here. I need to get that paint off there. If that paint dries on there, that will affect your marker. So you want to make sure that you don't touch the paint. So that is the reason that I am dyeing my white paint with the orange marker, because that is what I have. That's what I got in this series. So, and I actually have way too much white paint. So I'm probably going to have to put down even a little bit more color, because this is going to turn out peach. I already know that because we've used it before, but I want it to be a little bit more colored than that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to move that paint back, because I don't want to color way out here and keep spreading my paint way across my palette. Alrighty, that probably should be about enough. Let's see. Take this and bring it over here. Yeah, that darkened it up. That darkened it up enough. And I do still have some white paint there, but I'm not going to put that in because then I would just need more orange paint. It'd be back and forth and back and forth. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on here. Put that in the middle. Like that. And then I'm going to kind of decide where I want it. I want it in the middle of my page. I have about 1/4 of an inch over here and over here. It looks pretty straight. I'm going to move it over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that's where I want my stencil to be. And then I don't need to fill in the whole stencil because the only part that's going to show is this part. See how that looks. Oh, it's not showing up. This is not the best sponge. I'm going to get a different sponge. That sponge I used to spread glue around, and so it's not really soaking up my paint. It's not as dark as I would like it to be. We'll get it on there, and then maybe we'll put just a little bit of the orange watercolor on top of it. Because I really would like it to be a little bit darker than this. And I'm running out of paint also. So we'll just see. So this series is just about not spending a whole ton on crafting, you know, just teaching you that it doesn't really matter what you have, you can do something. You can use old mail envelopes, which we're going to do that pretty soon again too. I don't know if we've done it in this series at all. I need a little bit more. I'm going to come over here to make some. And so yeah, so you know, you're just, crafting is just about creating something. These are kids' markers, you know, just old books, a little bit of paper from a secondhand store. You don't have to have anything big and fancy, and you can create wonderful things with secondhand items or junk items. You would be surprised what you can do. Oh no, this is the color I really wanted in the beginning. I'll wipe that on there so I don't waste it. Hold this down. And when you use these, make sure you press up and down so that you don't move your stencil or slide your paint underneath your stencil. Just give it a good press. And make sure that you don't have a big glob of paint on your sponge, because if you do, that will smush underneath also. Usually I wind up making too much paint, and today I'm just not getting enough. Oops, I put some up there, but well, that one looks really good. And we need a little bit more here and here, so we're going to go at it again. I'm being very careful not to touch the painty spots. Even if I have to make some more and make some more, because I'm running out of space. So now we're going to have to line it back up again because I moved it. This one is done. This one cues a little bit. That one's pretty good. That one really needs some. So we're going to line it up the right way. Okay, let's see. That one's good. And actually, that one's got quite a bit of white on it. Really need some up here. Give it a good press to try and squish that paint out of the sponge. And we'll see how this looks. I'm still not happy with it. That doesn't look good. So, we're going to do this again. And I could stop right here and like start over. But, you know, this just shows you that you don't always get it right the first time. I need more color. I need more paint. And now that I've at least got it started, I don't need a whole ton more paint, but there's no point in stopping right there when I have the ability to fix it. Whoops. Oops, got a drip on the page. Just gonna wipe that off of there. And put it on my palette. Here we go. I won't tell you what I just did with the extra. If you've been watching for a while, you know. Alrighty, let's get this orange picked up. Get it all mixed in really good. There, that should be enough. We have to line it up again. Let's see. Right there. There we go. That's lined up nicely. That's what I want the glue on it. Okay, so now, instead of going really fast, I'm going to take my time to try and get the paint right where I want it. I tend to do that a lot. You know, I pounce really fast. And I don't know why I do that. It just... There. Now, before we go any further, let's look. Looks okay. Try and look and make sure that I get all my spots filled in. Hope I moved it a little bit. That one looks really good. I don't know what my problem is with that one up there. It does not want to work. And this is our final side. Sorry that I'm quiet today. Don't have a lot to talk about. It's hard to chat on these videos because they're 3 or 4 weeks ahead. So if I say anything chatty, whatever it is I'm chatting about has long gone. Okay. A little bit more up here. And in some of these, I got a little bit of white, and that white is really kind of like highlighting it, so I'm going to kind of add a little white to these ones that I just can't seem to fill in correctly. Let's see, because these are showing up well, but they have a little white in them, so I'm going to kind of dab a little white here and there and see if that helps any. It does kind of. There. Alrighty. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh, thank goodness I didn't ruin my page. I have a little bit of glue on my table. That wasn't very smart. I better throw a piece of paper on there. Okay, so now we've got that. And we are going to put this on here like that. So this one looks really good. The rest of them are not very impressive. Not super happy with them. I guess one thing to learn is on the tea-dyed paper, because it is a little darker and I was using such a light color, maybe do some white first and then put the color on top, because I turned the paper white there and then put the color on top, and it's showing up much nicer than the other areas are. So, but they look okay. So we're going to go with what we have there and see what we're going to do next. So next, we wanted to put some red around the edges with a little bit of watercolor. Just kind of do a background stamping. Again, I'm not getting any, I'm using the same palette, but I don't want to get any paint on my marker. Put a little, move that out of the way. I'm going to put a little drop of water on there. Probably a little more than I wanted, but no, what did I do with my little, whoops. Find my paintbrush to mix that up. Well, my paintbrush has paint on it, so it's going to kind of be, this is going to kind of wind up being a little bit watercolor and a little bit painty. And then we're just going to take a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to take a piece off of here. Don't even need that much. And we're just going to scrunch it all up until it just has a lot of little different areas. You know, we're just scrunching it up, just a wad of paper. I'm going to take that and put this on here. And we're just going to put this around in the areas that we need it. Now turn it once in a while so that your little bits are not all exactly the same shape. And if you have like a background stamp, you can use that. But this is our own homemade background stamp that we can't duplicate, and neither can anyone else. We're going to come down here. Just fill in around where we stenciled. Give it a little turn. picked up some more of that. And you can do this with paint, you can do it with ink, you can do it with your own little watercolors, which is just water and your little watercolor markers. This is one of my favorite background stamps. If I am doing something, especially like if I'm away from home or if I'm sitting in my chair and I don't have any stamps by me and I want to do a background stamp, that is always what I do. It's just a quick and easy and fun way to do a background. So now that looks a whole lot better than it did before, because now it's all filled in. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down our X. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue it right straight right here. So that, and right here, so we'll be able to slide a tag in there like that. But there's no point in just doing the edges. If I just go straight down right here, that'll give me a little bit of extra glue area to make it a little sturdier. So I'm going to go from the point straight down, basically. And then here, straight down. And then here, I would go up like this from this point. And then up like this from this point. So going, did I do that one? I think I did that one wrong. Then it should come like this. Oh, it did. All right, what about this one? I want like that. Okay, I did it right. And then we're just going to, and the thing is, okay, so I have this and you don't have this. But maybe you do. Maybe you went to the dollar store and bought some of these little bowls and thought, ooh, those are cute. What could I do with those? But if you don't have these, you can cut an X out of a piece of cardboard. Just cut a square and then, you know, just cut a little V out of each side. So you don't have to have what everybody else has. That is something where you can get in a lot of trouble. I started out that way. I didn't do any kind of paper crafting when I started this a few years ago. And so I didn't have anything. And I started buying what everybody has this, everybody has that. Doilies, making flowers. Everybody had doilies and they were putting doilies in their layers. I couldn't find any. They were little doilies that you could put into a flower. And I couldn't find any. I wound up finding some small ones like that in an antique store. There was like 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, crocheted together. It was $8. And I paid $8 for it because I couldn't find any anywhere else. After that, I found a ton of them. So you don't, you know, figure out a different way that you can do the same thing that somebody else is doing without going out and spending a whole bunch of money. Because you don't have to. And if you spend too much money, then sometimes I grabbed out a bunch of orange and yellow flowers. Some of them are pink. But, yeah, so just remember, you don't have to have what everybody else has. And when you do your own thing, it makes it much more unique. So my tag can be this wide. And this is, let me fold it right there first before I lose it. Okay, that's how wide that needs to be. This is the back cover out of my, excuse me, shorthand book. Usually the first, and I think they call them fly sheets or whatever. I don't know. I say that every time because I don't know what they are. But anyways, usually the first and last page in a book is heavy or heavier. And so, you can use those like, they're not cardstock, but you can use them kind of like cardstock because they're almost that thick. So this is something that will make my tag a little bit heavier instead of just plain paper. And it will make a nice writing spot because it's cream colored. Which a lot of times too, they're also, you know, a lighter, plainer color. Sometimes not. But there we go. So let's make sure it's going to fit before we decorate it or anything. Now we have to remember, yay, it fits. And I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to just cut it off right there. I don't have to because we could cover that with something, but now we have to remember though when we're decorating that we keep everything within those walls, because if we go outside those walls, it might not fit in our little tuck spot. Okay, so I want to cut that one right there. There we go. And then, do I have, here we go. I want to put some corners on it. So I just have cut, this is a piece of plastic off of a book, and I just cut a rounded corner there, and I'm just going to use that to round my corners. Since I don't have a corner punch in this series, corner punches are great. They work nice and fast, but then again, some of them are really a pain. I've actually bought lots of corner rounders, and well, I messed this one up. And I've only found a few of them that I have thought worked really well. Okay, so that one is like that. In order to make it the same on the other side, I'm going to flip it over. And the only thing you need to do is make sure that the whatever you've cut, what you're using, that you have a 90-degree angle on them. I'm going to just come down here and do this corner. The thing about rounding the corners is that your tags and stuff, or your journaling spots, because usually the tags you cut the thing on the top, but they tuck in much nicer if you have rounded the corners. So there we go. Now we have some rounded corners, and that's going to tuck right in there. And now we just need to decorate this. So let's set this page aside. I need to keep that there. I'll flip it over, maybe you can see this a little better. And then I just want to, do we want to put a little, let's put a little color in the background. I want to put a flower on here. And I don't think I want to do a whole lot more than that, but I'm just going to, I've got my palette here. It's acrylic paint and it's markers, so they're water soluble. So when I put some water on it, I'm going to hope that it will reconstitute and give us some color. You know, the kind of cool thing is the acrylic paint, because it's dried a little bit, is kind of a little bit bumpy. That's okay. That's not bad, because I'm going to actually scrape that out of the edges. I'm going to put it on the paper like that, because then it will be, it'll give our paper some texture. So sometimes, you know, things you wouldn't think of, like I wouldn't have done this on purpose because I wouldn't have thought of it, but let's say just like a mistake, or, you know, whatever, however you want to say it, sometimes winds up being one of your best finds. Putting the most in the middle, which doesn't make any sense because it will be covered up by a flower. Good, I didn't get a bunch on the, all of a sudden I realized I was moving that around and I might have got a bunch on the back side. Alrighty, so there we go. See, that makes a really nice little background color, and then all we have to do is decide. Now, there really isn't any yellow in that page, so we're going to skip the yellows, because, and little tiny ones aren't going to really be good. Well, that one might be pretty. Let's keep that one out. We said we're not going to do yellow. That one's kind of plain. Maybe that one. That one, I think the flower blends in too much. I want a little bit of contrast. Ooh, that one's pretty. We're going to put that one over here as our favorite so far. No yellow. Ooh, this one's pretty too. Oh, I think that one is really pretty. Now, it looks like it's going to stick off just a touch, and what I'm going to do is I will just trim that straight. That will work. This is going to be the one. That's it. Sometimes you don't even have to go through your whole pile because you find, and these are just cut out of a flower book that I bought for this series. So we're just going to put some glue on here. I'm going to put on the plastic tablecloth since it's already got glue on it. Plastic tablecloths make great backdrops. And if you get the kind that have like the felt on the back, you know, they're a little bit heavier. They last a lot longer. I make messes all over them all the time. Doesn't bother me at all. No different than any other drop cloth, except that I can wipe the glue off if I need to, or the paint, but I usually don't. The glue I usually do. The paint I usually don't mess with it. Make sure I get glue everywhere. I'm going to put this here for now. Oh, I think this one is gorgeous. I love the way this looks with this background. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just love that one. And then, just for the fun of it, let's see. I need another. Well, we'll do it on here. I want to put a little edging on there. That's not going to be enough. Just trying to avoid my paint, although I am going to just kind of mix it all together and see what it looks like. Just spraying a little water. Whoops, too much. But I didn't want to get water on my tag. That's why I put it over there. Peel this off so that it doesn't stick to my tablecloth. Okay. Well, it's not real dark, but it's still defining the edges just a little bit, which is just what we're trying to do here. I could just draw around this, just literally trace around it with a red marker, and that would leave a very deep, deep red line. But I don't want something that's that dark. I just kind of want a little bit of a defining edge here. Alrighty. Oh, and I hope I can upload this, because sometimes if I make my videos too long without splicing them together, they don't work. So there we go. That is going to fit right in there. Oh, and look, it looks so pretty with the flower on the bottom and the buds on the top. So there we go. That was our X marks the spot for today. Thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.